Hey guys, how are you all this afternoon? Boy, my camera's crooked. There we go. It's a little bit better. Good to see you guys. Introduce yourselves. Tell us where you're from. It is a warm, sunny day here in Tennessee. I don't know where you are, but hopefully your weather is as lovely as ours is today. It is low humidity, which is a wonderful thing. We don't get that very often in the summertime. Good to see you, Cindy, and congratulations, if I didn't say so before, on your win of your jacket from Sewing Machines Plus. Awesome job. Good to see you, Shirley. Hey, Deborah, or excuse me, Debbie and Robin and Sharon and Christy and Charlene and Caroline and Susan. Everybody's rolling in. Sorry that it's been real spotty lately. As for me giving lives, it's just travel has been nuts and 4th of July. So, everything is just kind of crazy right now. We will go live this week. Next week is in question because I'm supposed to be in Bartlett for a training. So, and I'm supposed to leave on Tuesday. So I may switch that up. I'll have to figure out we may switch to Monday. Um, and the education connection, I'm trying to figure out a good time to do a live for you guys. It will be me. Heather and I are having a hard time getting our schedules together, so it'll just be me. Any suggestions that you have as to what you'd like to learn, I would be happy to hear it. So, yes, I had a wonderful start to my last trip to Bartlett. Boy, that trip just kept getting better. Let me tell you, that was the trip from Hades. So I had called the Hilton line, the Diamond line, and told them what had happened, that I couldn't check into the hotel. I was checking into another of their hotels for them not to cancel the rest of my reservation and so that I would still have a room and but to cancel that night. Well, no, they didn't do that. They didn't even mark it in the file. They did nothing. I went to check in the next day and I had no hotel. Looked in my app and I had no hotel. I'm like, oh crap, the whole city is out of power. They're spotty power. And that hotel happened to be one that had power. Well, so our travel agency booked me into the Marriott courtyard. And I thought, okay, if they booked me there, surely they have power. Oh no, always check if there's a power outage that there's power at the hotel that you're checking into again, because that one did not have power, but they did get generator later on that evening. So that was a good thing. I ended up staying there. It was just a crazy trip. I've never had one that was quite so interesting. Susan, I do believe you can use open types in BES4. We'll look at that today. I'm pretty sure you can because you can do the glyphs. So yes, you should be able to use open types in BES4. All right, so a couple of things. I wanted to share with you some customer things that have been popped out there with the decorative fills. The first one on my screen is a picture, and I know I have a picture somewhere, Sandra, of the finished quilt. I just don't know where it is. So hold on a second, and I'm going to show what I have. So let's see here, share screen. And so this is one. And she did, these are with the Springfields, I believe, and she had a blast with these. She's used them along with some of the decorative fills in P Design that are built in. I thought this is a great quilt, absolutely great. Then Caroline, let's go up here and play a little bit more. Caroline out there has been playing with them as well, and I do appreciate y'all sharing what you've done with them because you never know. This is one of hers. Isn't that cute? And she's used Sandra's method of using a fill in the middle of them. And I love your fabric choices, Caroline. That's beautiful. So cute. Then let's see here what else we've got going on. Somebody else had something else in here. Oh, another Sandra. She did her. This was a freebie design in the center of it from the Brother Sews from iBroidery. I guess it was in June, and she used the decorative fill around the outside edge there, the strawberries. And then Reen is doing a live this week on how to use decorative fills with some of her in the hoop projects. So this is one that she's done with, this is the sunglasses are out of the summer collection. And then she's got a strawberry one that's stinking cute as well. Oops, it's not showing me the picture, Reen. Well, I be darned. But she's going live with that on Saturday, so you all may be very interested in seeing how she demos that. It is a very cute bag. And I do believe she's going to show how she did it in PE Design. I'm not sure, Reen, she can pop in here if she's live and tell us whether she's going to use it in software or in, I'm pretty sure she's using it in software, but she may be using it on the machine as well. Who knows? So yes, a Saturday live. Y'all are excited. Not many of us do those. We like our weekends too. Okay, guys. So Sandra sent in a question today, and I'm going to pop in and answer that one first. The question was how to get yes, she's going to do it in PE Design. Thanks, Rain, for popping in. Let me see, where would I find that picture? Hold on a second. Let me go to my business account, business page here. And go to the home page of that. Just go to my home page. Come on. Thank you. In here, right here. Okay, so she was trying to figure out how to do the indents on the popsicle. And she got a lot of different suggestions on how to do it. And I'm going to give you what I think would be the easiest way to do this one. Okay. So I have the popsicle design already drawn up here. Let me see if it shows up in my most recent ones. Nope. So let me go in here and open. Okay, what did I call that? Popsicle. Would have been nice if I'd left it up on my screen, but I didn't. So here's the popsicle design, and it's got my artwork behind it. That's what you're seeing behind it. If I turn that artwork off, let me go to my image tab and take the image off. You won't see it anymore. So this is the basic popsicle design, and I simply used a shape and then removed overlaps to get it. Okay. And if you want me to show you that, I'll show you that here in a little bit. But I'm going to show you what I ended up doing. If you go to your Stamp and Emboss tool and you choose Input Stamp, there is in our stamp menu an eye. And you can select the eye. You basically select the area that you want to stamp and then stamp, and it will give you that and give you a space. Well, that's not quite what I wanted. I wanted that to dig in instead of fluff up. So how do I get that to happen? So go to your option pull down menu and choose Programmable Stitch Creator. And I'm going to bring that over here because it always wants to pop up in my window. And let's go up here and say New Fill Stamp. And let's just go open and let's find the eye. Stamp L, Stamp H, there we go. Here's the eye. And you can see that it's got a blue region on it. That means it is embossed and not engraved. So what I ended up doing was I went on either side of it and made myself a grid line, just a guideline to be able to make it bigger. I wanted a fat space. And I made it as tall as I possibly could. And then I changed it from region emboss to region engrave. So you select the region engrave tool at the top and click on it, and it turns red. So that means it's going to dig in instead of fluff up. Now I want to go over here and I want to choose File, Save As, and I'm going to save this as a block. We'll save a block too. Now let's go back over to PE Design and let's delete this one out. So I'm going to edit my stamp tool, select this and delete it. Okay. Now, stamp emboss, input stamp. And it showed up this time. I could have actually just popped it in there. So I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to come click here. And you'll notice how it's dug that in. So I've got it, but now I want to choose Edit Stamp. And I don't care what this window says. We're just going to click on the stamp and make it bigger in both dimensions. Now, if I want to make sure that it's even on both sides, I can come in here and add myself a guideline to both sides to say, all right, that's where I want my other one to be. And so I come over on the other side and choose Input Stamp, use the same one, click, select it with Edit Stamp, and then make it bigger as well. Then if you want to do the same thing on the next region, come back in, input stamp, and you can input them all at one time. So I can put this one here and put this one here, and I'll go ahead and come down here and put one here and put one here. Now let's go back and edit them all. So edit stamp tool, select this one, and I might need to nudge it a little bit. There we go, and then make it bigger. And it doesn't matter if you go outside of the area. That makes no difference whatsoever. But I think this mimics what you want to do. So it will actually look like an indentation, but that's how I would do it. That would give you that texture dimension that you're looking for and give you exactly what I think you want to do. So does that make sense? Now, the other question that she had for me, let's come in here and take out the stamps because a lot of suggestions were given. I'm going to come in here and, oops, I don't want to stamp again. I want to edit my stamp. A lot of suggestions were given, but none of those were what I would have actually chosen for this. The stamp tool, adjusting, modifying that stamp and making it your own, I think will give you the best results of what you want. But some other suggestions were given for her. So let's come in and grab our select tool. Manual curve, what does that do? And auto. Auto is going to follow the shape of the curve, okay? It's going to try to fit those stitches in there. It kind of radiates from the center. But manual curve does a little bit something different. When you select it, you then have a select point tool, and it gives you options for adjusting that curve. So if you come in, you can come in and play with where that goes. How did I get this different earlier? I'm going to go manual straight line first. Now let's try it again. No, you little stink pot. There we go. But you'll notice it gives you some texture, but it doesn't give you what you're looking for. So that would not be what I'm going to do. So the engrave does not throw stitches on top. What it does is it embeds those stitches in a little bit closer. So this is how you adjust your manual curve, and I just don't think you're going to get what you want from that. And the other one was a programmable stitch, and once again, I don't think you're going to get what you want from that. All right, so the other thing that you could have done, let me put that stamp back in. And let's edit it. And I'm just going to do this with a 1 to show you what else you might do to make this stand out a little bit more. So let me come select it. And you can tell, since this is going straight up and down, that's not an optimal angle for that. You do have to have an angle in there to make that work. But what you could also do is increase the length of your stitch. So let's say we go up to 6 on this. on our step pitch, you'll notice that that indentation appears a little bit deeper because the stitches, what happens is it just embeds those stitches into that. It makes them tighter and you'll see a little line. So if we watch it sew, nothing actually changes besides the closeness of those stitches in that embedded region. I'll have to say, Sandra, I had to go back and look at I had to go look back at the pictures and make them bigger. I couldn't see them on my phone. I had to go on the screen and look and see, what does she mean? What does she want to know? What is the actual question here? So that was the best way. That's the best way I can tell you to get that texture in there instead of having to draw the little, I mean, somebody suggested that you draw lines in, I think was one of them. And yeah, you could draw lines over the top. Oops, I don't want a curved line drawing till I want a straight. You could come in and put lines in, but that seems like an awful lot of work. You would also not want that to be a zigzag stitch. So oh, a running stitch would be what you would do. But I mean, that's a little bit much work. You could come in and you could put in a rectangle over the top of it, but then you have to make sure that the stitch is the same type. I mean, you could do that. You could put a programmable fill in there and make sure that your edges run. So that is something that you could do as well. But that would stitch over the top unless you remove the overlaps, and you have to make sure that that curve is where you want it to be. So if my method didn't work for you, you could come in and do this right here. Let me move that little node down. So you could always come in and do that as well and just remove the overlap and come in. But I think that your best option is the line engraving. I mean, the region engrave or stamp tool, whatever I'm trying to say. The stamp tool, I think, is your best option. Okay, guys, those are the questions that I've gotten this week, I believe. Let me double check and see if I have any others hanging out somewhere that I don't know about. Hang tight. I'm looking. Give me just a sec. Okay, the decorative fill with a change in the center of a decorative fill. So let me see here. Let's go do that one. And I know I've shown this before, but it never hurts to do something again. So let's select all here and delete. Oh, actually, let's just new and don't save the changes. All right, so if I came in and I grab, let's do something different. Let's do a different shape. How about we do a diamond? All right, let me come in and pick a decorative fill. And let's go find one. So let's say we wanted to do the flamingos in my diamond. Her question was, can she change the center of where it starts? And the answer is yes. If I go to the select tool and do the select point tool, this is how you change where that center radiates from. That little crosshair that appears is how you change where things appear. So if you wanted that flamingo down at the bottom, you can make the flamingo down at the bottom. You can futz with it. If you wanted it over on the side, you can come move it over to the side. I don't know that I like that one. I liked it at the bottom. So that gives you a good route to go. Sharon, we do not have a half stitch in BES4. That is a PE design item. It is not a BES4 item. I don't think we do. I'll look and see. Convert to stitches shapes. Okay, can certainly cover that one. So if I convert this to stitches, it is going to put it in fixed stitch format, which means I no longer have those editing controls. Like if I click on my select point tool, I now have stitch points. That is, it converts it into stitch points. Okay. And that means it is no longer editable in a block format. Let me undo that one. That's the first thing. The convert region to lines is a very different thing, which is really cool. So convert region to line. This one takes this fill and turns it into an outline stitch. So then any stitch that's an outline can be filled basically. So let's see here. If I convert that region to fill, you'll notice that now instead of having fill stitches, I have outline stitches. So if I wanted that to now be a satin stitch, or a zigzag stitch, I can turn it into a zigzag stitch. Now that's going to be a lot of stitches going around a lot of areas, so that may crash and burn my computer, but I don't think so. Let's give it a minute to do its thinking. Cindy, which machine do you have? Luminaire is a 60 weight. The embroidery only machines are 90 weight, besides the multi-needles. Okay, see, it did not like that. And the reason being is because there are some sharp edges there. So there are some points that it did not care for, which is why you get all that rigmarole. But let's see if we change it to a different stitch type. Normally, I don't do a decorative fill that way, but I can choose a triple stitch. I can choose a stem stitch. Boy, that's a hairy little flamingo. You could put a candle wicking stitch on them, which you can't tell anything about that. And you can put the Dream Machine is a 60 weight. Yes. You can put an EV stitch on it. Now that's interesting. You can change the direction of that stitch as well. But boy, howdy, that's funny. You never know what you're going to get. And you can choose a chain stitch. So those are the different options that become available once you convert region to line. Now, when have I done that? When is a practical use for that? Let's come in here and say I have done a circle, and I'm just going to change it to a flexible spiral. And let's change that density of the flexible spiral. So the spacing, let's reduce this. Do I want to reduce? Nope, I want to increase my spacing. The increased spacing. And let's increase it some more because I'm trying to reduce the number of stitches I have going around, another number of circles that I have going around. Now I'm going to turn off my outline and I'm going to convert that region to a line. So now I have myself a spiral outline that can have any stitch that I want put on it. And that's how I have used this. I mean, that is a really fun way to make spirals. So that's a practical use. But there are other things that I've done before with that one. Okay. You want to know about the half stitch option. And let me show you what half stitch does first. Let's just do a monogram here. Okay. Patty, you're funny. All right. So when you've got something that has a lot of curves to it or a lot of stitches bunching up in one area, that's not a real good one. Let me look for a different font. Let's say we do this one. It's a block font. So you notice how those, oh, well, wait a minute, I've got half stitch on by default. Okay. Notice how all of those stitches right there come into play. They're all cramming into one spot. If you turn on half stitch, it will ease those in so you're not penetrating that edge with as many stitches at one time. That's what half stitch is meant for, especially if you are using a vinyl. So if you're using something like leather or vinyl and it's perforating through and punching the whole thing out, then that is a way, the half stitch option is the way to go. Let's go look at BES4 and see. I'm pretty sure it does not have that option, but I'll open it up and look. Let's go in here and monogram. So if y'all don't know what that little error message that just came up means, it is that, okay, let me come back in and let you see that. I made my monogram larger than it's recommended. So what that means is if we look at this in 3D, it's going to drop some stitches. I've made it too long for the machine to stitch. So a way around that is to either use a different fill type, a carved fill, or to come in here and change your pattern. So you can pick any of the patterns in there and it will substitute it out. I don't really want it that big, so let's make it, how big can I make this one? Maximum's 2.94. So let's go to 2.9 and apply. And let's go back to a satin because that's really going to show us what we want. And that may be a little bit long, but we're still good. It looks like it must be an undersewing stitch that's there. I am pretty sure that there is no possibility of that is just not here. We do not have a half stitch in this program, so you cannot take that out. It would be nice because all of those stitches are going to compact right there, but you just can't. So if you have that option in your software, if you're not using PE Design, you're using somebody else's, look to see if there's a half stitch or an ease option. It may be a feathered edge in another program. Play with those different styles. I honestly don't know. I don't have that program that you were asking about today, Sharon, so I'm not real sure. Oh, the last one, Sandra, convert to outline. Shapeworks. I'm not sure about that one. Convert to outline would be the other one on that one. Let's see here. Convert to outline, I usually use if I'm working on a design and I've taken it beyond what I want it to do, or if I'm trying to get an outline for something to set whole sewing. And if you go here to the stitches and convert outline, you can convert whole to an outline or parts. If you convert the whole thing to an outline, it's going to make the entire thing one color. If you convert parts to outline, then it still keeps the color, but those areas that were in the inside, let's pull this one over next to it so you can see the difference. You no longer have these individual pieces the way that they're digitized. They are solid looks. Okay, so, but what does that give me? If I do that, I can come in then and I can change the stitch type. So if I wanted that to have a net fill instead, I could put a net fill. You can put whatever you want to in that area. So it gives you some control over making different choices. So let me see here, patterns. You can come in and put a different fill in that area. You would have to make that awful tiny to do that for this particular one, but I can resize it to any size and it will calculate stitches at this point. But it does give you that capability. It also gives you the capability of turning those sections into applique. And you can, instead of having to add, you can replace. So those are ways that I use that one. So, and I think that's pretty much all of those. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't tried to monetize my YouTube. Eventually, I need to do that. But honestly, guys, everything I do for you right now is free. I haven't monetized anything. And that's if there's a commercial in the middle of mine, it's not my doing because I have not monetized anything. Is there a way to create a hand stitched line, sort of like a dashed line? Susan, you could create that one's a hard one because it really requires a special technique on the machine. That's what you're asking is more of a sashiko stitch, um, where it does a long stitch and then a short stitch. What you could do, and it it may mimic it, but it depends on how you stitch it. Whether you stitch it in the same color as the background fabric, or whether you stitch it on top, is you could come in and go into your programmable stitch creator and choose new motif pattern. And what you could do is come in and create a heavy stitch. So all I'm doing is basically going to go over this 3 times here. So that part of my line is going to go 3 times, and you're not going to see anything on screen. And we'll make that a heavy stitch and long. So I highlighted all of those edit nodes and moved them all at one time. And then it's going to be a single from there. So when you go in and save it, hand stitch. When you go in and save it and use it, let's see here. Let's just do a little line. And come in and let me find the one I just did. It's under miscellaneous, right? And hand stitch. There it is. Oh, you do have to select it first. That does help. So you'll notice that in my stitching, if we watch this one sew, I'm going to go real slow. So it's going to go, I can't make it even go slow enough. You would have a heavy one, and it goes over it 3 times, and then a shorter one, and it's going to go back. And that's the closest way. That's the closest way that you'll get it. Okay. You might try monofilament thread from the back side as your bobbin. I mean, there's a lot of different theories on how to do that, but that motif stitch that I just will give you the closest that you're looking. But you're still going to have a little light. You're going to have one light stitch. So you might use like a 60 weight thread and see if it doesn't work better for you, because that's a heavy, excuse me, that is a lighter weight thread. That is messing with my mind today. So what I just did, the convert to outlines or convert to blocks, is how you would change the stitches of designs that aren't created in P Design. Let's see here. Let me pull one in. So keep in mind, these act as if they have been created somewhere else because these are all locked in fixed stitch format. So let me find one that we could play with. Floral 3, is that the one I like? Let's grab that one. If you convert to blocks And you may not want to convert the whole thing to blocks. You may just want to pick color. So if that's the case, then I would first divide by color, and then let's say we want to convert that to blocks. So this green color right here, I'm going to convert to blocks. And we'll leave it as that, a regular thing, a regular section. And then you basically break it out, click the select tool, and then you can choose your different stitches. So if you'll notice that little section that I just did, I changed it to a concentric circle. If I change my color over here, you can see there's a concentric circle in that section right now. If I come in here and let's say we want a piping stitch, I've just changed that to a piping stitch. Not optimal for that, but that's giving you an idea. That is how you change stitches that a digitizer did. Commercial, I mean, it's not that we can't, yes, you're using a design that's not created in the software that you have, it is considered in a fixed stitch format. Having said that, if I digitize something and I give it to you and I have you purchase it, usually I don't want you to have my editable format. I don't want you to be able to claim the design as your own. So you would have to have it in order, you would have to have the original digitized line format from me to do that. I can export as a lower version and fix that stitch format in there to where it doesn't allow you to change my original design that has outlines in it. You can change it, but you may get weirder results. That's the way the world works. Most people that digitize something do not give you their raw format, because honestly, unless you have that software program, you're not going to be in that specific version. You're not going to be able to change that. For P Design, if it's in the most current version, you can't read it below that version. So if I'm in version 11 and I send you a file in version 11 and you don't have version 11, you can't change it. So if I create it in 11, the only way to give it to somebody or to allow somebody else to purchase it in a different version is to change that to a lower format. So, having said that, I'm going to show you something that kind of gets in the way. If I have this in, let's see here, if I come in and I choose the largest hoop that we have in P Design 11, this is not in version 10. So if I were to save this in P Design 11 and I wanted to give it to somebody in P Design 10, they could not read it because it's bigger than the largest hoop supported in their software. I'm going to put it in here just inside that area. So if I come in here and I do File, Export, or Save As, sorry, and I try to choose anything besides version 11, it will not let me do that. Is there a workaround? Of course there is. I can export it as a DST file. I can export it as an EXP file, any other format. But I can also choose Edit User Hoop. And if I create myself a 272, what was that form? What was that size? 272 by 408 hoop, and say Add Hoop, click OK, and select that hoop from the line down below here, and say OK. Now when I go do a Save As, it will let me save it in version 10 and version 9. So those, when we got version 9, we got the Edit Hoop feature to where you could create your own custom hoops. So if you know that the customer has 9 or above, which hopefully they do, you can simply change it to an Edit User Hoop, and that will allow you to save it in that format, that version. All right, guys. Any other questions for me today? So as far as, Cindy, as far as getting views and stuff, it helps me on both formats. And really, it's more about having followers and things than it is about. I'm not paying as much attention to the views. But that would be what I would say. Hey, Linda, glad you could join us today. I do have some coupons for you today. Let me see here. And if you think of questions in between, I'll come back to you. So if you want to buy any of the decorative fill collections, any one collection off, any one collection, you can get 15% off with S Fun, Summer Fun. And that is good till my mother's birthday, which is the 25th. If you purchase all three, and this coupon only works if you have all three in there. So if you have three and one of them's a duplicate, it won't work. So all three, you get 20% off. So, oh, actually, evidently I didn't get that coupon code in there. Hold on a sec. Let me go grab it. I don't know what happened. I did not grab that one correctly. Oh, actually, I think it's 20% off. I do believe. Let me see here. Where did it go? Here it is. All right. So coupon code is Cindy20. So let me edit this coupon. Okay. So there you go. Purchase all three and Cindy20 is the coupon code. Okay. So Margaret, I'm so glad you're enjoying them. And Linda, you're playing with some today. Sweet. I'm actually working on a new collection. Hopefully you'll see it in the next 3 or 4 weeks. It's my in between gigs work that I'm doing right now. So, um, it's about done. I've got to get the motifs done. So, who knows? It doesn't matter to me either way. I'm willing. I want to grow my YouTube channel. Be sure and subscribe. Be sure and follow both places. Share to your timeline. All of those things help. And anybody that you follow that does this, all of those things help. Because coupon code for 15% off. Hold on a sec. 15 off. Oh no, sorry, wrong. I changed it. I changed it to give you a different one. Let me delete that one so I don't do it, so I don't mess that up. S Fun for summer fun. Okay, guys, if there are no other questions for me today, I am going to say goodbye. If I'll let you know what happens. Yes, give likes too, please. All of that helps. If you have not, excuse me, what I was trying to say. If I can work it in, I'm going to try to do a live Monday or Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning would be awful hard, so I'm going to try for Monday next week. This will be the only time that I change. I just hate to miss another week, actually, because it's going to be this way for the next few weeks. So when I can try to get there, I would like to do it. So if you have questions, please send them in quickly. Don't wait till next week because I always accumulate the questions. And if I don't get to them one week, I get to them the next. Just go ahead and shoot them over my way. And I'll see you next week. We'll talk to you later. And be looking, if you're in the Education Connection group, be looking for a notification of a live because I will do something here shortly. Okay. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.